Hi. I never turned off the
Once more with
combat
feeling.
thing. Oh, I must have not had the what's it called? Um tip jar on the other thing because it just dropped a whole bunch right now rather than having it on the whole time. So I didn't have it on my way screen. That makes things a little bit confusing. Oh well. What's up, everybody? How we doing? Um. So yeah, let's kind of jump into it. Your characters sit there, and it was more or less. She's like, "Are we making like a treaty or something like that?" And you're like, "Let's not worry about such in-depth things right now. For now, our land is burning. Let's put out the flames and see how we can plant the fields." You know what I mean? So, your characters, as they more or less immediately, and not all of you are in very good shape. Again, Shala is staying behind. The only one that Nick brought with him is staying behind because she needs to recover so she can head back home, slip in through the borders, and kind of get things working accordingly, right? So, aside from Shala, um, obviously Tesla is bringing both of his advisors, his brother, who is his. Actually, would you leave your diplomat behind here to handle things, or would you bring your diplomat with you? Obviously, your brother is returning with you because your brother's going to have to
Um,
handle.
I don't think Varix doesn't have like anyone that she could even work out a treaty with in the first place.
No, but that's not necessarily true because even if he's missing a,
Hey, the treasure is pretty good.
yeah, well, you have advisors. Like there are people that can work out these details. You know,
Um, I would let her choose if she wants to stay and start to work out
listen. The
details or not.
Shado and the Densho tribe, our clan, sorry, are kind of like Teacher from Full Metal Alchemist. Just because a few organs are missing, the other ones somehow morphed and compensated to allow functionality to continue. You know, you don't need like a spleen, kidneys, liver, or intestines, do you?
No, you just need a
No.
heart and a stomach, and then
Yeah.
you're probably fine.
Yeah, heart and lungs. That's all you need, right? Yeah.
Um, yeah, she I would let her stay if she wants to. She can make the choice.
Okay. She would probably stay. There's no reason for her to get immediately into combat when she can do things here, including battle if need be. And start at least some degree of relations between the two places. Um, Especially because she's here and Shala is here, as well as advisors from his, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And Jake, who are you bringing with you as you head east, if anybody? Or are you just bringing yourself,
Nobody.
like Nick?
My treasure is staying. The general is staying to, if we get attacked, he's to handle it. So I'll be coming myself. The spy master also will stay.
As your characters start heading east, did you is there anything immediately your characters are kind of like imagine as you're traveling on the roads heading to the east, and obviously the person that knows the roads the best here, the initial roads are going to be Varric's because this is his home until it transitions out of his home and into Tessel. Around that time, you guys kind of come to the realization, never realized that like my road to the east ends very close to where your road to the west ends. Like if we just kind of like gapped up this little area, we could actually have a direct path to one another. That'd be kind of convenient. Anyways, your characters, I don't know if there's much of a conversation that you guys would have about what the fluff they just did or anything like that. If there's anything that you guys immediately would want to talk about before I interject.
I don't have that much to say.
Open airtime for Jake. He has no Neil on the call. But no. Just sits there
So
quiet.
Tessa proceeds to give a long-winded speech to everyone as they walk. No, Tessa would probably be trying to get like us to the three of us plus his brother to kind of start talking tactical ideas of like the plan because we know our city well, so we can describe the layout to the other two warlords and like make a plan of how we're gonna attack our city again. Having convinced the people to fight for us again. If we, if I like make an announcement, like show myself right, kind of just planning before we get there, so we don't have to plan when we get there.
So, obviously you guys are kind of like planning out your tactics and everything before you get there, so on and so forth. So one of the things that what might come to mind for your characters to try to talk about is a bit of lore for those that weren't a part of this conversation earlier in the pre-game hype call. Is there was a way of thinking, a way of that warfare is done inside of Kajinksi. You see, in the Barren Lands, there are no rules. There is just survival, right? And for a lot of the different nations that exist throughout Eroth, there are a lot of different like engagements of war, so on and so forth. But specifically within Kajinksi, there's a degree of like honor that exists amongst the clans. So clans feud, they fight, they kill each other, so on and so forth. But there is still a decorum to war. There's rules of war, rules of engagement that must be followed. If somebody goes outside of the rules of engagement, if somebody breaks those rules, and you can prove that to the northern clans, if you can prove that to them, you can get them in a significant amount of trouble with the northern clans. What does that mean, being in a significant amount of trouble? Well, on the surface of it, they can get like a stop it. And it's like a mark of dishonor on them that's kind of like openly known, that they were like disrespected by the higher clans for their activities. That in and of itself is like a huge thing, especially if your clan is not some small little shit. Like if your clan is like really striving to gain the honor, the respect of the other clans around them. So that on the surface is a small thing, but it can get much worse than that. There can be a reduction of trade, if not a stopping of trade. They can kind of use their weight to reduce the amount of trade that others can get. They could actually have land stripped from them by clans just coming in and being like, this is our land now. You know, things like that. They can even go so far as to, I don't have a word for it yet, and I will come up with a word for it, but more or less kind of like a pirate campaign, like the black dot, right? Like almost put like a black mark on them or like a dark mark on them that straight up says, you are now removed of honor. You're seen as being honorless amongst all the clans. So at this point in time, any clan can do whatever they want to your clan, and there is no disrespect for doing so because you're so beneath the rungs of honor that other clans can use whatever tactics they want because you have earned no respect. You've earned the lack of respect. So that's kind of like one of the worst things that can happen. And what clans might take advantage of that? Well, depending on where you're situated and what you have as assets around you, other clans are very quickly going to be hungrily trying to test the bounds and see what they can take. Or, you know, the northern clans can be like, oh, more lands. You know, and do whatever tactics that they want, whatever shady tactics they've been waiting to use on you. So yeah, kind of like an excommunicate, whatever it is, that sort of a thing. So yeah, that's kind of like the different tiers of what can happen to you. So as your characters are walking along, one of the things that you might be thinking to yourself is utilizing of poison during a diplomatic meeting, if that's something that he actually did, which you pretty much believe he did, to then try to usurp your towns during a diplomatic meeting. If this actually happened, and this can be proven traced back to the warlord of the Zinquin clan, that's some serious breaking of the rules of engagement that exist in Kajinksi, and that can be heavily punished, if not having forced recompense back to your clans for this, forced BP or whatever it might be that the northern clans used to use against them. So I don't know if this is something that your characters would discuss at all amongst each other. I know that amongst you guys, probably the most lawful is Kushibashi. No?
That's tough. I'm probably brooding, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm more worried about my city than worried about snitching to the northern lords, if you would.
Sure. Jake, you're gonna say something?
Yeah, no. For me, unless somebody brings it up, it's not where I would first go to.
Okay, cool. So then, pushing beyond that, your
There
characters.
are advisors from, I think, Tesla has his advisors there. I don't know if that would cross their minds, but it would come from me.
Yeah, it might cross my brother's minds.
Mm-hmm.
But Tesla's kind of wanting to burn their entire tribe to ash, but you know, can't really do that. So.
And from that, it is reborn, stronger and mightier, and defeats.
Yeah, we are reborn because you know we.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Hey, but Tesla's worried about his like people right now.
And while that might be on the mind of your brother, similarly, this is his home. he's worried about that you guys are actively marching towards, so it's not even like something he can push in the back of his mind because he's literally planning towards how to get there. All right, so let's now talk about your clan there. What's your face? Celsior. So, you need to try to have your people fight up against them. How many people could potentially actually have attacked your clan? Well, the clan where he was, the failed attack that happened there, if you had to put a number to the number of people that actually attacked the place, it was probably about 200 strong. So you have to think approximately how many people would have attacked your clan to the east of where they were if the one where he personally was 200 strong. How many do you think it would be? Because your clan doesn't typically have a standing militia, or a standing army, I should say. Your clan doesn't maintain one. So how many would he have probably sent in? Are you thinking, personally, it was about 200, more or less? And the other two, feel free to chime in as your character's kind of walking and talking and planning this.
I would think he'd probably send like 100 people, maybe 150 towards my location to like secure better supply lines. But I imagine it's probably half as much, because Varix was like meant to kill all of us, kill the leaders, destroy the clans, and the other two may seem more like sweeping up the killing blow.
How about the two of you? How do you guys chime in on this?
I don't know. I kind of feel like the poison was like a kind of like a Hail Mary, like, maybe this will take care of them nice and clean. They threw some soldiers at us to get us distracted. They know, they've probably done their due diligence, so they know Cell's people aren't that militaristic, so maybe they sent a token force to go occupy him. I'm a little worried that a larger force is marching on Shinrin.
Okay. So
My thoughts are that they have definitely sent the larger force to deal with Densho, as well as having not only him there, but the other two leaders of the other places. So I think the largest force was for Densho. I'd go with maybe half, although I don't know I don't know the others, what their recruitment's like, if they have many troops, stuff like that. But the enemy definitely would have done their diligence, so that would all be a factor.
cool. So everybody's here is pretty much in agreement that there's most likely the least soldiers over by Clan Shadow, because they have the least militaristic and have some of the greatest resources. And honestly, once it's taken, it's one of the easiest places to defend. It's in the mountains. You know what I mean? Or at least the foothills, the broken land and whatnot that happens to be over there. It's where the mining and whatnot transpires. So that's kind of like one of the first things that you would come across. And most importantly, if you're actually looking at the map, and we're actually... I don't think I prepped a combat map for you guys. No, I did. Didn't I? I must have. Oh, let's find out. All right, well, that's the wrong one. Up here. Did I prep them up for you guys? I gotta have one. Professional streamer. There's Warmonger Wage chat. I don't think I pulled in Warmonger War combat yet, so let's do Warmonger combat. Add source. 1 second, guys. Sorry about this. I was trying to show something to everybody. Everybody. Let's go to desktop. Desktop. Aurorum. Nope. Desktop. Overlays. Aurorum. Warmonger. Did I really not make a Warmonger combat one? God damn it. How do I suck so hard? Well.
Hey, it happens.
Well, sorry about the fact that these are the wrong names on it. Just ignore it. We'll deal with that later.
I thought you made one.
I swore I did too. You can check our little secret chat, because I usually like to post them in there so you guys can see them. I honestly thought I did too, so. Oh well. So I'm gonna, hopefully this works for everybody. Reminder, you don't actually want to touch the towns once you get inside there. I'm actually able to show the land where it's going to all transpire. So, yes. So this is, oh my god, it looks so beautiful from my perspective. And you guys can totally check it on the stream to see how it looks if you need to from your own perspective.
My hexes are still black.
Oh, I didn't change the color of them. No, I'll change it to orange soon. So yeah, this is the land of Kajinxi and the areas beyond that these characters as a collective, God, it bothers me that this is the wrong thing, that these characters as a collective have actual knowledge of, right? So you have this is the amount of Kajinxi that they can actually see, that they are actually familiar with, so on and so forth. 1 second. So that's what they're able to see here. What they can actively see because of news reports and whatnot that come from their clans, bringing this down, pulling it to more of a clan view. You can see what's currently black, but will in the future be kind of an orange color, like almost like a burnt orange, is going to be the Shadow clan. So the Shadow clan is right here. You can see that the blue is the Densho clan, and the green is the Kushibashi clan. The gray areas is the areas that their characters happen to know about, have a keen awareness of, either from traveling through it in their past, have maps that kind of look into the area, so on and so forth. And most of it's up at Kajinxi. Very little bit looking beyond. The active area that they can see, you can see about a half hex beyond every individual hex is more or less the area where your people live, so you get active reports from, or maybe your soldiers kind of routinely scout, so on and so forth. So you kind of always know what's going on in those areas. That's why it's lit there. If you happen to build on a hill, or if you have a watchtower, or God forbid you have a fort, or if you have a watchtower or fort on top of a hill, it kind of expands your ability to see beyond that initial area. And that's kind of really shown right about here, where you can see where Jake has that watchtower, and it really blows outwards how much you can see. Actually, Nick's kind of getting screwed here. I need to fix this one. He should be getting a little bit more sight than what he's seeing right here. But it doesn't matter at the moment. So that's kind of like an idea. So the reason why I'm pulling you over to this map so you guys can see is as you were leaving Jake's center here and making your way over towards Tessel's, which is 60 miles over, right? You actually, Tessel, you know that if you chose to, there happens to be a mine along the way. Your greatest mine is actually right along the Densho border, right there. So I bring this up to ask, would your character continue on to the capital to take that first, the actual city to take that first, or would you drop down to the mine to take that one first?
I think the mine would be the greatest idea, because not only is it a mine, it's also a watchtower on the mine, next to the mine, protecting it.
Yep, giving it the 1.5 hex view that you're able to see from it.
So if it hasn't been taken yet, that's valuable men that could be used, that are trained already to fight and take back the city.
Perfect. Now, what status is your watchtower currently in? Now, I don't know if you are aware of this or not, but a watchtower actually gives a +2 to defense against an attack that might happen against it. So the status, to find out what status your watchtower is currently in, why don't you go ahead and roll for me a 1d20, and then because it's built on a hill, +2, and because it's a watchtower, +2 defense inside that area.
So +4?
4. Yep.
Oh my god. I'm Nick right now.
Wow. I think what you mean to say is you're Laszlo and Nick is Crescellin. It's really bothering me that this is wrong, that these names are wrong. It bothers me so much, but I can't fix it right now. Not while we're live, not if I have to make something. So moving on, you decide that kind of like coming up with this plan, heading your way. Your brother's his first immediate plan is, we need to take hold of the capital. We need to get back to our home. From there, we can easily trace them out of the far corners of our land. Besides, we need to make sure that our family is well.
If that's what Naito says, then Tessel agrees to it.
Well, I mean, he's you know that he's being a bit emotional about the fact that you've only recently taken this home and it's taken away. Your character is going to be different from him, because and this is why I imagine you come up with your plan, is your character spent his entire life in the mines until recently. So you'd see the mines differently, strategically than he would, right? Because kind of like the heart of your people is in the mines, where he did not spend his entire life in the mines. So to his mind, the heart of the people is in the capital.
Okay, I get the phrasing now. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
brother. I understand the desire. Trust me, as you know, I'm a man of action and not one to wait. But the minds are our hearts. It is the beating core of our people. The capital is where where the blood goes from the heart's beats. We must secure our hearts, and then we can take back the capital. The mine will give us men that will fight. They will defend our people to the last breath.
So, with your him nodding, not going to disagree with you and understanding your sentiment. Obviously, the people kind of hearing what's happening. Jake, I have to ask, how many people did you bring with you? Because obviously you didn't come here by yourself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know number-wise.
What was your standing army? What standing army do you maintain at all points in time? You don't have what?
Where do I find that?
Well, what? I mean, you can have 15% of your population of 2050, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how much of a standing army you maintain.
Well, I pretty much mobilized nearly everyone for that meeting. So.
I mean, my apologies. Pretend like the meeting didn't happen. Go back 3 weeks, whatever. How many? How much standing army do you have? Would you do the full 15%?
10%, maybe.
So that'd be 200, like 205 people at all points in time, right? So an army of 200, and then because looking at the map real quick, you have 2 watchtowers. So in theory, you could have at each watchtower 100, an army of 100 sitting inside there. I don't know if you would have that many, or if you would break it up a little bit from there. Maybe 50 at each watchtower, and or something else. Like I'm not sure what you would do.
I haven't really thought about it yet because I didn't think this was happening so quickly. But we'll go with there'd be probably 50 at each watchtower.
Okay, and then you would leave what 100 at home.
Yeah.
Okay, and that makes sense because you have a garrison at home, so you easily can store that many there. So with a standing army of 200, which has its effect on consumption, which we'll get to next session, doesn't matter right now. You had 100 soldiers inside your home, as well as the basic city guard, your warden, and keeper, and all those fun people. How many soldiers would you have mobilized to come with you, not to defend your home, which obviously left some, you'd have brought with you moving forward?
We'll take 50 with us, and we'll get word to obviously the other watchtowers that if a signal fire is lit or whatever, if there's another attack there, to come back, and vice versa. If they, sight enemies, there's different signals that they can give off.
Okay, not a problem. So you were going to bring 50 soldiers with you. Thank you very much, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, it's just you and your 6, right? And Cecil, it's just you and your 7.
Yeah.
Okay. So in total, you have 6 and 7 is what, 13 plus 51 is what's that, 65, 64, whatever it is. Cool. So your 64 people are marching towards the mines. What kind of tactics are you looking to use here, Tessel? Before I get into the nitty gritty, and this goes to Nick and Jake as well. Allow me to describe these lands for you, the lands that these mines happen to be in. Just because they're the hillocky area on the edge of Paradale, Barren Land, so on and so forth. Let me describe them like this. Do you need me to roll out of the way for you? Ignore that guy. Ignore that guy. He's
Anno.
Yeah, ignore that guy. No, he doesn't look anal enough to be Anno. Ignore that guy. I'll put my hand right here. He's not here. So describing the lands like this fun little image. It's very craggy, right? Where it is that they're pulling the mine from, it's not just surface mining or anything like that by any stretch of the imagination. They have to burrow in this rather craggy bedrock area to get the ore that they want, the quality ore that they want to make their weapons. What tactics do you characters see using to fight against what you guys think is a paltry force of 100 or so. Some maybe upwards of 150 that hit the entire clan. Hitting the entire clan is a mix between the mines and the capital. How many do you think is going to be here without even scouting? What tactics do you guys try to use? Do you try to use scouting as a tactic? If so, who are we sending to do so?
I think my group would be forward scout.
Okay. You would offer your group to be the actual scouts. Shado, do you have any chiming in on this?
Do I have a banner?
Of course you do. Of course you do. You have several banners with you.
Then when the Kushibashi clan is saying he wants to scout, Tessa would grab one of his banners, right under my banner, so my people know you are allies, not enemies. If you see a few men, tell us. We should go. Then we will arrive quickly. Rally the miners against these warriors, and continue on to victory here, and then to the capital.
We'll fly your banner under mine as I move forward.
Of course.
What does Tessel do as he's scouting? Tessel, his brother, Daelric.
Tessel would just be impatiently pacing because he doesn't like waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess he's prepping to rally his miners to fight for him. So he's thinking of speeches or just quick spouts of propaganda, I guess is the word to use.
Daelric, so you more or less just waiting for word and command, so not necessarily command, but what the plan is going to be moving forward. So you're just kind of shoring up and waiting.
Yeah, I'm definitely amongst my own men, having a drink, and just more or less preparing them for death, whether they give it or receive it.
Okay, cool. So back to you, Nick. For your scouting tactic, are we making each bird an individual scout, or are you guys moving together as a swift-moving, quick unit? Who cares if we get spotted? We're not who they're looking for, anyways.
Pretty much, yeah. We'll just move as a team.
All right, move as a team as quickly to kind of get a sight of the area. All right. Well, that being said, because if you're moving as a team, what is your character's actual perception modifier?
Perception +6.
Cool. Take an additional 3 from the others aiding you and roll me that perception check.
All right.
God, it bothers me that these names are wrong. I really want to adjust them, but I can't. I'll be so distracted if I open up my laptop right now.
Maybe add that 3 in there real quick. Nice.
Did you roll a 93? Nope,
2.
A 2.
Yeah.
Of course you rolled a 2.
Sweet.
So anyways, yeah, you sir, with your whopping 11 are able to ride around, and you see that the miners are working, but you actually don't see that there are any guards posted about, soldiers posted about. It seems like if they did attack this area, if they did attack the mine, they may be left, or I guess are in hiding, but you're honestly not even sure if they've attacked the mine.
Well, time to move closer.
So unable to kind of discern things that way, you choose to be like, let's get all the way in there, more or less kind of ride through the center as opposed to stay in the cliffs. Maybe even speak to people directly.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So as you're bringing your way in there, trying to get as ballsy as it could possibly be, trying to get a bit of information, why don't I have somebody in chat roll me a D100? We'll say it's Anno because it's his birthday. Anno can roll me a D100 real quick. And Nick, you're making your way in there trying to discover things. As you're getting significantly closer, why don't you go, oh boy, Anno. Boy, oh boy, Anno. Could you do me a favor?
Why you got to do me like that?
No, it's okay. Anno, like with almost all Pathfinder charts, if you roll a 100, you actually get to roll twice. So you have to roll 2 more times and keep both results. So can you just roll me 2 more times, please, Anno? And don't forget, there's a 5-second cooldown between them.
Yeah, this is just how it's going to be.
All right, 30. Okay, cool. Wait for a moment. And the other one's coming any moment now. 30 and 53. Cool. So your characters, Nick, as you're making your way in there, trying to navigate through the spots, why don't you go ahead and roll me a survival check, please? I just realized how my camera's so squished down. Like, they're cutting off like the bottom 3 inches. So the survival trick, your characters are able to easily navigate through the crag area down there. It's not like it's something that's super comfortable, but Axebeak are accustomed to this kind of land, even though your Axebeak are raised elsewhere. They're instinctively accustomed to this kind of land as well as others. I mean, they are originally from the Barren Lands, though they kind of got driven out into Kajinxi, right? That being said, why don't you go ahead and roll me another perception check?
Regular or with the +3?
With the +3.
All right. Lord knows I need it.
Okay. You're actually able to notice that there are, in fact, other people that are here. Though it seems as though what they did is whatever amount of force must have been here beforehand, they're small enough that as you come riding through, holding the 2 different banners above one of your bannerments, like one of your bannermen happens to have the 2 different banners, they're watching you curiously. Roll me, so actually, no, you don't have to roll me. You count heads real quick, and you have each of your soldiers kind of like, give me a count. And kind of like as everybody starts calling out quietly, you know, or after you make your way through mentioning where it was that they saw them and kind of tally up who's like was double seen or whatever, you think there's only 10 soldiers there. Even if there were some hidden, 20 at most, you don't think there's many at all. Honestly, if you could draw them out so that they're not in like advantageous positions, you and your men alone could take them. But this is not the best land for fighting on mounts.
Oof. Well, we all have bows. So I would say get into position on a small, if there's a small cluster, pin them down and start firing and see what happens.
Well, because they're holding the ground in the craggy area, obviously they have ranged weapons as well, right? And a small scale army would be a different conversation, but in a small scale they would have ranged weapons as well, being in the craggy spots. But also they would be able to be kind of like knuckled into areas that are easily defensible. Like, again, you can imagine if you're attacking down here, you're up behind, you know, so you can step out, shoot, and step back. So they're definitely going to be inside well-defended positions. Why don't you go ahead and roll me the profession warlords check? Despite my description, your characters think that it's not that bad of a. Your characters are vastly superior in combat to whoever these people are. Yeah, they have good positions and whatnot, but no, you're going to be able to outdo them. So instead, this is very diet. We're not doing the real mass combat rules yet. Why don't you go ahead and roll me a 1d20 plus 2 real quick?
All right. Oof, sucks to suck. Yes. Yes. That is tasty. Give me that critical failure.
Just needed to follow the plan.
Well, they thought that they were better than they were.
Oh boy.
Things do not go well. Things do not go well at all. Unfortunately, you thought you had them pinned in a good position. But no, there weren't 10 of them here. There were 20. And they were all positioned well. You weren't able to spot all of them, just many, right? And so when you started firing upon a group, I mean, yeah, you clipped them. You maybe even killed a few. But that doesn't change the fact that the hail of arrows, the constant stream of them that they were able to get at you from all the different angles, allowing it so as soon as your attention turned towards somebody popping out over there, they would duck behind cover and they would get you from another direction. They outmaneuvered you horribly. And you're going to have a number of casualties. and you only have so many people with you. Casualty does not necessarily mean death. Ano, because it's your birthday, could you please roll me a d6? I think there's a d6 available. I think so. I hope so. It might not be. So Ano, because you rolled 6, almost like exploding dice, 6 casualties, which means 6 people that are so injured they're kind of removed from combat. Could you roll me that d6 again to see how many of them are actual fatalities? 4 fatalities out of the 6 people. That's rough. That's rough. Now here's the more important part, though I'm sure Nick's character doesn't feel this way, but we all do. How many of those birds fell? Can you roll me that d6 one more time there, Ano? With 4 dead Karuk, 3 dead birds, you have your character is narrowly able to get out of there, not without suffering a considerable amount of damage himself. With that horrible failure happening there, this is more narrative than it is anything else. But your character does, of course, suffer damage. You have we need you to feel a lot of pain on this one. I don't think D10 is an option in chat, so instead of 4d10. Can I get 2 d20s? That's from you, Ano. So 1 d20 at a time for how much damage Naren suffers as he narrowly escapes with 2 of his surviving men and 3 of his bird allies. He'll roll the other one in a moment. Narrowly escaping, able to retreat. That's a 12, so you take a total of 20 points of damage, unfortunately. And Steve, could you go ahead and roll me? I think Steve's still here, is he? No, Steve's gone. Summon Snake, why don't you go ahead and roll me a D1000? If it's above 600, he still has the banner. If it's less than that, it fell. And Nick, your character narrowly escapes, unfortunately, without the banner, it having been dropped by whichever bannerman had the responsibility of bringing it as you return to the others. You guys weren't scouting as far in as he was, but at least you had enough forward people to watch the onslaught as it happened. So as he returns, of course, you guys are fully aware of the situation that he comes riding back into. His remaining 2 men heavily injured. His remaining Axebeak that makes it out without its rider, again, also injured. Probably its rider being dragged behind the Axebeak in the ground behind it. He himself injured, an arrow being pulled out of his own Axebeak as he returns, wounded. Words?
Womp womp.
Okay, men. We should split the men in half, both flank either side of the higher hills. How many men have bows?
Unfortunately, Jacob's not going to be able to afford that many bows and that many. A small group of 6, it's easy to arm all of them. So you can imagine Jake's personal guard. So 6 would have it, and Sel, you can imagine yours, 6 would have it, but not the whole group of 50 or whatever. Oh, Steve is here. Steve.
Tessa looks to his brother. Naito, what is the strategy you believe we should do here?
Well, it seems as though they're aware of the fact that we have allies with us. They saw 2 banners ride in there. Ours, which they'd be familiar with, and another. And that other banner attacked. So they know that we have allies. If we're going to attack them from on high, they're probably aware of it. As a matter of fact, they're probably choosing to renegotiate their grounds to be prepared for it, knowing we'd come back for another assault. If they assume we're coming back for another assault. I think we're going to have to attack them from both low and high at once. We're going to have to send people into the kill box first. It would take their attention from the on high. That way we can attack them there. Lull them into a sense of security, thinking that we're foolish enough to try it again. And for that, he says, whichever men join me, I will gladly be the one to lead that.
Varys would just be watching Tessa at this moment.
Tessel turns to you. It is your men, Varix. You can choose if they're allowed to join us in this mission. I do not command them, but I ask you to let my brother lead.
Well, we have fought in terrain similar to this most of our lives. I will have men join you.
He nods and he says,
Yeah.
he'll nod and he'll say, just your best, your men best trained in defense. We just need to stay alive. We need to give a show of attack without actually intending to do so. Beforehand, we had 6 cavalry riding in. We're going to have more than that to make it not seem like a decoy. I hate to ask for so many, but 24 would certainly be an appropriate decoy on foot.
Take 20 men. And the other 30 will attack from the other side.
He nods in agreement and he looks to you and says, Shadow Tessel, you should take the your guard and attack from the one hill. Perhaps with Kushibashi Narin. What remains of him and his men, you and your men should attack from one side, allow Densho Varix and to attack from the other. He was gracious enough to provide this many. He should have the greater unit.
Agreed. I will attack from the side closest to the mines, and I'll try to rally the men as we fight to join.
He nods and says, I think if we waste too much time, we give them too much of a chance to switch their position and analyze the situation. I go now.
He nods. Stay safe, brother.
Clasp arms, and he'll turn and start walking into the kill box effectively, to be as defensive as possible. Jake, I imagine you just choose a handful of, 2 handfuls of men, or whatever it is, 4 handfuls realistically, a score to go with him, and everybody else kind of goes to their different positions. From here, once again, we can have a profession warlords check if any of you guys have it. I think only Nick does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does my brother get to roll like profession soldier?
Yep, he can roll his, and you're also going to be able to roll your what's it called, oratory.
Oratory. Okay. I'll roll my oratory first, then. I am not back. And it's Naito. Profession soldier.
It's a good thing he has a big modifier.
Good thing I have a lot of big modifiers.
Jake, you adding anything to this, or no? Because you were just going to surely outnumber them. You get like 31 to 10.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to it, so
you're fine. So
as it is.
Naito leads the soldiers down into the kill box, trying to be as defensive as possible, just trying to keep them alive. Wounds can be healed, as long as they're not critical, right? Wounds can be healed. He's just trying to be a distraction, keep them alive. Waiting for the right moments, Kushibashi Narin is going to kind of keep everybody at bay, hold them back, and then as he gets into the kill box and the attention is clearly starting to turn towards them, stray arrows and whatnot going that way, you have Kushibashi Narin will give Densho Varix the command, like the sign for, not the command, right, but like the sign, attack now. So as they're kind of like looking down in that area, looking down, it's like, oh shit, what's going on down here? That allows his soldiers to kind of like overtake in a wave of orcs running down the hills, with their melee weapons running down the hills to attack at the people down below, like really driving into them, allowing them the group on the other side with the much lesser people with Tessel and Narin on the other side to be have complete decoys. A whole bunch of the Kruk running down the hills on one side. You have people walking through the kill box in the center, pulling their attention fully that way. So your characters come down from behind. Nick, you as the only cavalry riding in. Shadow Tessel, your personal guard, raining down arrows where they can to provide aid. And you honestly walking to the edge of a cliff, and sure, you get your sword out. Sure, you're very capable of fighting, so on and so forth. We actually take this moment to call up to your people to kind of like lend whatever aid it is they can there. You're calling out to them makes it so, sure, they're not engaging in the fight up here, the distraction, Nick and your soldiers are able to handle this side, and the wave from the other side riding up on this side, the people down below riding up on this side, they're able to handle it as well. They actually ferret out the last few that are hitting amongst them inside the mines, allowing them to be brought forward and overtaken and killed. Of the group of your people that are left behind that are unfortunately defeated because there's a kill box down below and running down a hill is not the smartest thing to do. Oh no, you want to go ahead and roll me one more d6, please? This is for casualties. And you guys are actually able to win the day right here. With only a 1 on the d6, the amount of damage that happens to anybody is so negligible. Honestly, nobody's really that injured. You're able to patch the wounds and whatnot of the 2 that survived of the Kushibashi clan, so that they're able to at least ride forward, if not fight, in a couple days' time. And I imagine here, having traveled all that way that you did, you're probably going to have to stop and relinquish some. Relinquish for the night, relax for the evening. Of the soldiers that you defeated, not all of them were killed. Clearly, you were able to question some of them. Let's bring it down to the roleplay moment of the questioning for your characters. Who is going to want to head up the questioning of these people?
I would like to do it, unless Varix has a desire to.
Varix will be there. He'll chime in if he needs to, but this is your people.
Okay. So, Varix, you're going to chime in. And I imagine, is Nara in there as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. They're there to witness or whatever. Cool. And so as you guys are heading over to that, whatever it is, we're going to go to you, Tessel. So you have the 2 guards that survived well enough that it was... Some of them you just like mercy killed because of how injured they were or whatever it was. These are the 2 guards that survived well enough that they could actually potentially live this situation, right? So you have them bound.
Now, you have done a great crime against my people, attacking us unprepared, unprovoked, and without a declaration. But you will be given a chance to live if you speak. I promise you will have a rebirth, a new life in my lands if you agree to tell us and answer all my questions. How many men lay in my capital?
I'm gonna have you roll me an intimidation check, but due to circumstance, defeated, bound, blah 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 blah, I'm gonna give you a hefty +8 on this one.
+8.
I can aid him with a +3.
How?
I have my aid and ally thing.
Aid and ally, does it do it automatically, or do you first have to make
I have to make the roll as well.
make your intimidation check first?
Of course.
Jesus Christ, it already is a 3. I don't know if you remember this or not, Nick. If you go over a 20 in my games, it gives you a 3, so that's actually a 4 that you provide for him.
Okay.
So that means yours goes up by 2 more, so you get a +10.
Get a +10.
Of course, he rolls high on that one, right? Does this include the +10?
Yeah.
He asks you first. He says, "You ask questions, to which you're going to compel me one way or the other to answer. I ask, if I answer them openly and freely, will you allow me to return to my clan?"
If you choose to return to your clan, you may, but you will find a better life in my clan. Everyone deserves a second chance.
The other Karak, the other clan member is kind of like looks at the deal he asks, and he kind of gives you that look, like he doesn't say anything, but gives that look like, me too.
He looks at him. Of course, the deal is to both of you.
Okay. Yep, they don't have him yet. Haha. So anyways, he says, there were that marched south. There was a group of nearly 1,000 strong, if I heard the number right. A number so big, I honestly don't know what it means, but it broke many ways and separated. There was a much larger group that broke off from us. We were the smallest group. We head south. A score of us, a bit more than a score, came to the mines, leaving behind 4 score, I believe it was, back at the town to the east of here.
Do you know how many went to the lands to the west? Not to the Densho clan, but to Kushibashi.
We broke off before the others, so I wouldn't know. They would have broken again after heading further south and west than we did from then. So I wouldn't know. But if I understand correctly, there were 3 commanders that were heading things up. One was heading us to the south, who then split us to come here. There was another that had the bulk of the force, and then the third force was actually head strangely by the what's the hell's his name? By Xingquin Foucault.
The diplomat.
Foucault.
And you guarantee everything you tell me is exactly as you know it.
Yes, exactly as I believe it to be true. We were the smallest group by far, but I don't know how many exactly.
Then you will be held for now, till we take back my city. And then there will be a letter sent and the miners will free you.
Just quick question. Have you got both the bound people together, or are you questioning them one-on-one?
They're together. They're like, I assume, like back to back. Or like tied up to like some posts in the mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So your brother would actually chime in at this point and say, Shadow Tessel, if I may.
Yes, Naito.
Gracious as it is our clan to offer our enemies an opportunity to have a second life here. Yet, for them to earn a life here, they must know what it means to earn a life here. Might I suggest that they spend their time in the mines, knowing what it is that they wish to have taken for themselves, so they can appreciate what it is that they might have the opportunity to join.
He looks at them. Then you will two will both work in the mines and be given the choice to live in my lands or not.
He will say, it is an honor to work in the mines, to work for the Shadow clan. Even the warlord of the Shadow clan has spent years in the mines to earn that right. Certainly, you lot can spend some time earning it as well. And then he'll kind of like look to whoever might be the taskmaster or whatnot inside. Not, again, it's not slavery. Everybody here is freely and openly choosing to have these kind of positions. But the taskmaster that might be around here to kind of grab them and, oh, well, you know, this is forced labor. But
It's okay. It happens.
Varix would address Tessel, and he'll say, "Show much mercy. It makes you look weak.
It may look
These
weak.
people kill your people, and you let them live in your land.
There's only one way to grow. Death happens, war happens, but these men did not choose to come here and fight. It was their leaders. Punishing the man who needed a job to work or being forced to conscript. It is not right. It is what the clan before mine did to all the people in this land. Forced them to work in the mines. It was not right.
Are you now not forcing them to work in your mine?
They will be given a choice. Working a day, 2, 3 is a pittance to being forced to work in a mine for 80 years.
Well, when they kill some of your guards to escape back to their land, maybe next time you won't be as forgiving.
But they will not.
'Tis your land.
He nods to you.
That land was your land. This land is my land. So keep your fucking evil tongue away from my land. I'm just saying.
Oh boy.
We know who Green's least favorite is. So,
I wanted to circle back to the what 1,000 troops. Was that what he said? 1,000 troops, and we say what 250 attacked Jake, right? And there's like a score maybe over at Cell's land, right? So that math really sucks.
Yeah.
I say.
Yeah. We gotta. If they got really 750 men or 700 men over by your people, we gotta really raise some troops first.
Well, I'm glad I'm getting all my natty ones out here, right?
yeah, that's all I need
Yeah,
down here.
that's it.
That's how it works. I see you rolled a 19 on Intimidate. Good job.
Yeah, well, when it doesn't matter, fucking pull through.
Yep. Yes, you do. So, and then your characters would spend the day resting, right? And it would take you another 2 days to travel the rest of the way back to your actual home. Before you do so, I imagine you want to kind of gather up some more people to join you. Tessel.
Yes.
You try to call to a militia or conscript your people.
Call to a militia. Only those who are willing to fight will fight.
In that case, I need you to make me a loyalty check, Boyo. Your loyalty is currently suffering a bit because
I have all the negatives to it.
you have all the negatives, but you don't have all the correct people in position. That's fine, because you actually still can succeed.
I need to roll a 15.
Yep. I mean, yeah.
Sometimes I wish I wasn't such a nice dude.
I mean, I still owe you some advisors, but let's just say they're not in place at the moment.
Do I have to roll? Do I roll the loyalty macro?
Yeah, actually, guys, I built you some stuff that I have to show you that I haven't had an opportunity to show you yet.
Shadow.
Is it? Yeah, I think it's. Yep. Oh no! No. So if it's lowercase, that's a baseline macro for you to work off of.
Okay.
You actually want to roll. I guess it's recruitment edict actually.
Okay, I think I would have to change the modifier too on the Shadow clan.
Maybe yeah, and we can go over
my
that for
loyalty
everybody
was a
else.
16 to a 14.
Yep, that's fine. Might actually even be different from that right now, but that's fine.
It should be 14 to follow the mods I put in.
Because I updated, what was it, Nick's sheet, but didn't update you guys afterwards with Nick's. But that's fine. Again, I don't care about it for this one session.
I roll I guess Royal Enforcer would work. That's just a loyalty check.
No, do the recruitment one.
The recruitment one's not on my list.
You can't see that.
I have upkeep, tax.
One second.
Shadow
One second.
control.
One second. And now you have it.
Now I do.
In my opinion, it's easier for you to press down, enter than it is to click.
Oh my god! I rolled a 3.
Don't worry. It's not the same as this. Isn't like a normal thing. This is a dire situation, so you're fine. So you try to call to your people to see if oh wow, your control DC is only at 21 too.
That's set wrong.
Oh, haha, that's right. Yep, because I was fiddling with it on that stream the other day. Again, don't worry, it's a 29. It's technically what it is. So don't even worry about it. So again, you try to call to your people to get a basic recruitment to see if you can like recruit more or less all of your miners to come and assist you. Unfortunately, you are not able to recruit that many. You just can't. It's too much of a struggle for you. So Cell, even though your base population is 1,825 and you can hold a manpower of at least how it's currently set of 15% of that, the best you can pull to you right now is 50 troops just to meet Jake's 50. So the best you can get is 50 what's what I'm looking for, militia, not even like his, which is an army. You can get 50 militia, which is not as powerful as people to go and assist. Just so you guys know the difference, one's full fighters, one's warriors, so yeah, there's a difference there. Anyways, so
yeah, I take the 50 men.
Yep, the 50 people that are willing to kind of like pick up arms and travel with you. to come along the fight. Jake, your men probably had extra weapons with them. You know what I mean? Like, I'll have secondary weapons, and it's almost like one of those. Can they spare their extra daggers and shit? Because it's not like we have weapons around here, but it's not like this isn't where the forge is. You know what I mean? This is the mines. So you guys do what you can, spreading yourselves a bit thinner, but eventually trying to push yourselves further. So after a couple days travel, you eventually come to your actual city itself. Now, Cell, you had already defined the Shadow Clan capital city, or town, or whatever you want to call it. Knowing what this place looks like, knowing that you're dealing with 3 to 4 score, which means 60 to 80 soldiers that have taken the place for themselves, knowing that this is your place. So these people here would prefer you as their leader rather than these insurgents, right? And knowing that you have 100 fighters with you, as well as a couple more, what tactics would you want to use?
I think I would want to try to send in some, like, forward troops that sneak into the town to spread the rumor of my soon arrival, and to start, like, getting the people ready to, like, rise up basically from the inside.
Gotcha. So obviously Shadow Naito can't go in there, right? And you left your envoy or Grand Diplomat elsewhere, right? I see you changed the names for most all these. Pretty cool. It's funny you called him Forge Master. So Jorman is probably not the best for this kind of a task. I think somebody actually made you a Spy Master too.
Oh.
Yeah, I just like I said, it came to me too late in the week for me to.
Hey, Lenny's in there.
Oh yeah, do you have Lenny?
Yeah, Lenny.
I forgot about Lenny.
Lenny's a magic user.
There you go. You're gonna have to get word to Lenny. Because Lenny's actually wicked smart. So Lenny can actually spread the word out a bit easier to others of what needs to go on. And Lenny's, like you said, he's actually a magic user. He actually has the ability to do some work. He actually also has knowledge warlords and profession teacher, which is funny. Huh. So,
since I know the town, I would know like my people, and I would presumably also know the routes that like the streets, right? The routes the people get to the stockyard, right? Maybe the less the less known areas, and I can direct some of my like elite troops I have, as they presumably know the city, to disguise himself as a miner. And assumingly I have like loads of like ore coming back and forth, maybe we can stop one and just put one in like one of the transports.
Well, what I want to say before we do any of this is what condition your city is was completely taken. So your primary town is not built on a hill at all, right? It has no defensive structures inside of it whatsoever. And it doesn't have like its warden general and so on and so forth there to maintain it, and it doesn't have a standing army. So you're actually rolling a 1d20 minus 1.
I can do it, boys. I believe in me. Give me your energy. Average.
Okay. So unfortunately, your town was completely taken over, 100% in their control. So your plan is to try to use some tactics of sneaking people in.
Yes.
Utilizing the mining equipment, make it look like mining shipments coming in. So how big of a caravan are you looking to pull off?
The normal amount that would be expected to come with a mining delivery.
Okay.
So everything is on the up and up.
Mind you, these are not typically covered wagons, right? Because ore can get wet. That doesn't matter. So these are usually carts and whatnot that are coming in. So you try to get some soldiers to kind of go in there and to bring the message, not to actually go and fight or anything. So it sounds like you're going to try to counter siege your own city. So with this being said, trying to spread the word, so on and so forth, I feel like, doesn't one of your characters have rumor mongering?
I think Kushibashi's ranger, but like the Dali.
Who?
I forget the subclass of the ranger, but it's one of his rangers.
Oh, I think it's actually Shala. Shala is actually a rumor monger. I think that's who it is. Give me one moment. Nick, is that correct?
I have no idea.
So if you open up Charlotte's character sheet and go to the additional tab and look at the abilities she has, yeah, she has rumor empathy. Because she's a dandy. What she is.
Dandy, that's what it's called.
I think rumor monger might be like somebody's I think a rogue that might have that ability.
Well, I don't got my rogue here, so
Which one's the rogue?
my my envoy, Elia.
Oh, is she the only rogue? Okay, let me open her up real quick. Sounds inappropriate. She has Honeyword, Charmer, War Leader. No, she does not have that one. Okay, never mind. Cool. Let me continue on. Sorry. So you you're trying to get word spread in there. This is more or less going to have to come down to some flat rolls for how well this goes, because you're getting some word in there, but they completely have control of the city. I'm going to have you go ahead and, because you outnumber them, I'm going to have you, and you can use pincer tactics of attacking from both sides, but they're going to be able to take hostages. So how does your character handle with a hostage-like situation? For the good of the people, just push on and kill them. You save more people that way. What is your...
Tessel would offer the soldiers their life. They can leave with their life if they don't kill the citizens.
Let me
So surprise is going out the window then? You're talking to them?
No. Hold on. To be clear, let's say, for instance, you're in a scenario where you have X number of soldiers that have X number of citizens at bay, and they tell you your men have to throw down the weapons or they're going to kill the citizens that are there. How does your character handle that situation?
He would offer the soldiers, if they do not kill the citizens, they may walk away free with their lives.
So you threaten the people that are threatening the people?
Well, they're guaranteed to die because if they kill the citizens, they're dead. They know that, right? This way, they can trust my words or not, but at least they have a theoretical guarantee of life.
Gotcha. Cool. All right, let's keep going. So I'm gonna have you roll me. Just again, this is just a flat thing because we're kind of like taking over this area. Why don't you go ahead and roll me a 1d20 to your tactics and everything that you have with your brother and whatnot. Why don't you roll me a 1d20 plus 4?
I don't want to roll it.
So we get that daddy 20, baby.
16. That's great. That's great. I'll take it.
There's losses of life, unfortunately, and the militia that you raised with you, and some of the soldiers that were raised by Daelric, and certainly of the citizens that were around the town that eventually kind of jumped up and tried to aid. But eventually, you were able to battle them back enough, beat down enough of them, that you break the siege and they retreat, a full-fledged retreat. This brings the question to all three of you. As the three of them are as the group of them are retreating, which, by the way, you're killing maybe like 25 of the 80 that are there, leaving a solid 55 with a good number of them injured behind. What's your plan with them? Do you let them do the full retreat, or do you try to rally and hunt them down?
Kingmaker all over again.
Yeah.
I think we would have to rally and like destroy the force. We can't let them regroup and attack us again.
And why?
Because first they could send a lot. They said they could send warning of our unification to Nick's clan, and also Tessel, knowing his people, they're Kuruks. They would want to destroy them even more, right? He can try to spare lives, but at the end of the day, it's still kind of in the culture to like, once you defeat the enemy, you run them down and kill them.
So imagine you guys are sitting there instead of a bit of a war meeting, the three of you with as they're kind of retreating, and it's not. I don't mean like, all right, let's sit down and have a tea break. I mean, it's kind of like they're retreating. Good. We just have this one little outpost there. We'll send this many men. And then it's kind of like one of them says, kind of like your brother comes up, sweating, got a couple of injuries on him, a little bit of blood, whatever it is, and says, Shadow Tessel, we have them in full retreat. The last holdout will be collapsing in the next few minutes' time. Are we going to allow them to retreat, or do we push on?
Brother, what do you believe the people would want?
There's been a lot of bloodshed. I think rallying ourselves home, keeping our home secured, focusing on the people is probably the better option. We should shore up our defenses. Let them retreat. We will fight them another day. It's not like we haven't taken our own losses. He says, looking around at Varix and Naren, who are also out of breath, and the men around them who are also out of breath and injured. You guys can chime in too. You're here.
Varys would say straight away, like, nah, Ren, your people are probably being attacked, or if they're not already taken over. What is your opinion?
We need to run these cowards down. You may want to go lick your wounds in your home because your home is safe now. The slaughter is far from done. Chase them down. I'm pissed off because I lost. I got my ass beat. I need to go kill some people.
That makes sense. And so he would actually look full-fledged to you. I would say, with all due respect, Kushibashi Warlord, to run them down in full retreat, this is against the code of honor. This is to be in breach of war crimes. Certainly,
they've already violated the code of honor. It no longer applies.
The issue is we have to prove it in a case. They can easily prove us breaking it. We cannot quite as easily prove them breaking it.
As somebody who is a little less scrupulous, chiming in from Clan Shadow, you would actually have Jorman respond saying, "Only if they survive," because that's Joey's voice.
Once more with feeling.
Is Lenny there?
Yeah, Lenny's reading something.
Once more with feeling.
Lenny needs some screen time, so speak up.
Sage Lenny.
Huh?
What do you weigh in on the matter?
Once more with feeling.
You mean, hold on. Hunt them down and kill them all, or allow them to retreat?
Yes, with the caveat of hunting them
Once
down
more
also
with
breaks the
feeling.
code of honor.
Well, I suppose it's a matter of where it is you think they're retreating to. If you think they're going to be retreating to regroup and come back and attack, let them do it. We'll easily defeat them the second time. If you think they're going to retreat to the north, they're just going to be licking their wounds, and they're not going to be much of a hassle in the future. The north is eventually going to find out what happened anyways. However, if you think they're going to send word to the west, to the Kushibashi clan, then, well, allowing them to do that would certainly be a bad idea. You should stop them in that case. But that's only one of three options. Odds are in favor that that's not going to be what happens. So we're risking our tired men to cut off the opportunity of something that's less likely to happen.
Tessel nods.
Steve, trying to get a hype train going?
I
Once
am
more with feeling.
Warlord Ganaran. Is it, with the further responses of my people, is it satisfactory to not attack?
Once more with feeling.
Your people are in more danger, so I will let you choose what we do. As you have already helped us, we must help you.
It leaves a bitter taste in my mouth, and I feel like we're going to regret it. We're letting 700 become 780 now with advance notice.
From the information we got from the two men in the mines, it did not seem they knew where they were heading. They just they split off first, so they may not even know that people are in your in your city in the west.
I see you're as naive as your edicts.
When you say that, you can see that the general gets a little bristled, but doesn't say anything because it is another warlord, so he shows his respect because he's law-abiding. But Lenny does chime up and say, well, I mean, if we're going to be honest about something here, the numbers as you've displayed them are not in our favor. I mean, even if you had 2 or 3 months' time, I don't think you're going to be able to rally up that number of soldiers amongst our people here. the clan Shadow alone against them is going to easily be disputed, despite the quality of weapons that, of course, Jorman's able to make. And Jorman responds and says, "Thank you." And of course, and I think he only speaks Draconic. I don't remember if he speaks whatever call it or not, but
You let him speak correct.
okay, so he speaks Kadark as well. So he says it would require the combined forces. Hence, that being said,
Once more with feeling.
catching them off guard is better than having them have a degree of awareness of the impending attack.
Once more with
But
feeling.
one must decide: is a calculation a good enough reason to take a life? And beyond that, are they so foolish as to think we're not going to attack them soon, anyways?
Once more with feeling.
They're assuming we didn't survive.
It's a good point.
Once more
But
with feeling.
by all accounts that you've already reported, there is the fact that they didn't see all three of you die. Though, your brother would chime in and say, they might believe us to be dead. Looking to Tesla as he says it.
Yes, but now they would know we aren't.
I've been outvoted. I won't press my agenda.
It is not a vote. I will leave the decision solely to your choice, as your people are under attack, direct threat as of right now. You've already, again, honored your agreement to me to help protect and defend and liberate my people.
Varix,
Once more with feeling.
Well, I know what I would do.
well, I can't eat them
But-
and fuck them.
I mean,
Bastard.
moving on.
We will. This is a decision for the two of you. We fight or we rest. I am going to be honest here. I'm trying to gauge both of you. See what type of people you are. You know what type I am. My reputation precedes me. But what will you do? Your clan is currently safe for the moment. Your clan, not so much. They could warn them, and that would be quite unfortunate. They could flee to the north, which is probably where they're going. Counterattacking on this place when they've just been removed won't happen. It does worry me the size of the army. Even if I mobilize the rest of my men and you muster up yours, he says to Shader, we still wouldn't have enough. But, you know, certainly, Kushibashi Naren, you're not going to want to do nothing and let yourself be taken. So we are acting together. If I'm going to vote, I would say hunt them down. They attacked, they knew what they were doing, now they run like cowards instead of fighting to the death. But maybe I'm just a southerner. You northerners do things differently.
Technically, I'm more south than you at one place.
Actually, on average, more south, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm from the deep south.
Yeah, but that's like saying the Florida Keys is less podunk than, you know, some backwater town in Georgia. Like you know.
It's all the same.
No.
I mean, it's true. Florida's a perfect example of the further south you go, the more north you get.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
yeah.
right.
Not wrong.
Yeah. Oh man.
So the decision is still yours, Nick. You gotta.
Yeah. So I have an idea. Tessel, I want you to use your resources to start chasing down the facts. Right. Let's use our active information network to start collecting information and proof about the dishonor that has happened. Let's keep that card in our back pocket and save it because we'll most likely need it in the end. I think Shinrin has a large enough force to at least soften the invading force, and I'm starting to plan on how I want to deal with possibly routing the invasion force. I mean, one of the beautiful things about having the responsibility of holding back Eldamar is that you actually have to hold back Eldamar. So we may use that to our advantage.
That was actually beautifully said. That was pretty awesome.
That's pretty good.
So it was one of those things like, do you know what? Do you know why I keep this door closed? Fuck it, open it. Go ahead.
Let those beasts come in.
It's pretty funny.
So I guess we're not running them down is basically the point.
Correct, yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to start collecting and making a case, I guess.
Yep, absolutely that. Yep, cool. And so your character's going to kind of so with your clan kind of secured, this actually gives all of your characters the opportunity as kind of like days roll on, whatever it is, to bring yourselves over to the back. Like after you finish being here for a couple days time, you imagine the two of them be getting increasingly itchy, wanting to be like, we need to be moving again. And you're like, okay, fine. You know, you finally did what you needed to do here. You're still going to try to muster up as much of an army as you possibly can. Now that you actually have the heart of your nation back, it's going to be a little bit easier for you. That's a reroll. Excuse me. But you're gonna have to. You guys are gonna be able to move back to. I just repeated myself. Back to the west a little bit, to the capital of Jake's nation. And from there, we can actually hit a couple more details. During the few days that you spend here, kind of recouping, getting your nation ready, doing your research, all that fun stuff. Could you go ahead and roll me one more loyalty check? However, I will tell you. 1 second, real quick, sir. Loyalty is. What is Ember Keeper? What is that actually?
High Priest.
Let me just see what those positions are that you're supposed to have.
Yeah, it might help a little.
Give me 1 second. Because again, a lot of people message me on the side in like weird ways and so on and so forth. So it was hard for me to realize. So let's see. This person said, okay, a high priest for Densho.
Not the right clan.
Nope. Rosin said, Rosin also said a high priest for Densho. So you have two people who wanted to give Jake a high priest. So
no one wants to give the new.
Nope. One of those is getting shifted over to you. So
Let's go.
So you just because I'll have to flip a coin or something. So you can remove the -2 penalty to your loyalty.
And stab.
And stab, sure, that's fine. That doesn't matter at the moment. And I'm not giving you any bonuses for that because none of those apply bonuses. You can go ahead and roll me your loyalty check, sir. Remember to adjust it on Roll20 to a 16. And don't forget to adjust your control DC to a 29. Yeah. While he's doing this, I'm going to explain this to the two of you. Nick and Jake, if you actually look inside your like where all the character sheets are, you'll see immediately underneath, say Densho clan or Kushibashi clan, there's actually another thing that says Densho or Kushibashi clan. If you click on that, it opens up effectively a character sheet. Click on the one that says attributes and abilities. You'll see that the first 5 attributes or whatever they are, 4 of them are control, economy, loyalty, and stability.
Oh,
that's fucking awesome, dude. Get to you in 1 second. Loyalty, no, you're good. Stability, economy, and control, right? You want these when your actual sheet, which it's not done for any of you yet, you want that to always be up to date. So at the beginning of every session, you check your spreadsheet, make sure it's correct, and you compare this to your spreadsheet. That way, all the rules that you do for that session are up to date. It takes you 30 seconds to update. And then all the automatic roles that we have work off of this character sheet that I made for you to make it run easy. Okay? So that's what he's kind of rolling against to make this work. So back to you, sir. That's beautiful. The result is, hey, you create an army. And actually the rule is you can actually, so a recruitment edict requires a loyalty check to successfully create an army in any fort, terrain improvement, barracks. You can create more than one army at a time, but each requires a separate loyalty check and the DC. So the amount of army that you can create at any one point in time, it doesn't actually have a limit to how big it can be. So it can be the full, because you're currently set to what, aggressive, right?
Yes.
So that can be 15% of your total population. So 1825 is your total population times 15%. I don't know how good you are at math, but I'm opening a calculator.
That's 273.75.
Sure. So that can be 2 armies of 100 and an army of 50, or 1 army of 200 and an army of 50, whatever it is you want to do.
Isn't it better to have one big army?
Correct, but because it's done in increments are like 10, 50, 100, 200, 500, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm.
So it would be better just to do 200 and then the 50, because the 50's there no matter what. I can't like.
And you can have the 50 as being like an army that actually stands at home and is watching your capital and everything, keeping like home safe in case people come back.
And I get 3% of my population as elites.
Yes, you can pull in elites as well, but 3% of your population, is that even much?
I think it might be like 50 people.
Can I do the math real quick?
You said
1825 times 0.03.
Yeah, 54. So it's 50 people.
So actually, having 50 elites traveling, you could actually potentially have the elites be the ones that are kind of like hunting down. You're not doing that. Never mind.
No.
So you could actually have 2 armies of 50. So you could have like maybe the weaker army protecting your mines, the better army, the elite army protecting your capital, and then you can have the 200 moving forward with you to Nick's lands. Or you can say, no. We're going to pretend like the elites aren't, because you have to go with the average, right? I'm going to have an army of 200, an army of 100, and all of them are coming with me to the west. I'm going all in for Nick.
Yeah. What do you guys think? I think we don't think they're going to come and re-attack. And they're probably not going to send more troops down to attack.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I would still keep a token force at home.
I would say we have the 50 elites. We have 200. So could we have like the 50 elites as their own army? Is that like really bad?
Correct. Nope. That's actually good. That's actually a good 50-person army. Yeah.
So we have a 50-person army. Like the elites are coming with us. We have 50 normal people defending the city, and then 200 people. So we have the best people because we're gonna have a pretty tough fight ahead of us.
I heard the 50 normals are protecting the city. What did you do with the 50 elites? Sorry.
They're gonna come and attack, help the.
So you're bringing 2 armies with you, a small, so like a tiny size and a normal size, I think, and a medium size, I think is what it is. Cool. Yes. That's enough for that. So that brings you guys, and you're bringing this group of 250 soldiers with you over to Jake's lands. And so you've seen that even though it was annoying not running them down, so on and so forth, when you see him amassing a group of 250 people to come this way, I imagine it's a bit bolstering for you, Nick, for Naren. And he leads these people, this big group, back towards Jake's lands. Jake, when you get back to your lands, we're going to go over information in a second real quick. But can you tell me, what is your plan with armies?
My plan, I'll recall the people in the watchtowers, leave maybe 1 or 2 people there so they can signal if there's like a raid from the Barrenlands or something like that. But I need to leave at least 50 in my thing, so I'll have a force of 150.
So hold on. That's so you actually have a larger base. Apparently my camera died. And I didn't know it was going to happen. Give me 1 second. Times point 1.5 equals. So you actually have as your base. I guess your base population is bigger than his. Even just your normal army is 300 people. So you actually can have an army of 200 and an army of 100 come along, not including your elites. And you can have, what, 3% of your population, right?
Yeah. I think that's what it was, though.
0.03,
Yep,
because I think you guys are both the same. So it's 61. So you can actually, if you wanted to, because I know you tend to be a bit more defensive because of what's happening, you can leave your 61 elites and change or whatever back home and just bring an army of 200 and 100 with you, of just your normal soldiers. Is that what you would do? Because again, your elites would be better off at fighting any undead or whatever it might be.
I'll leave the elites. Take the 300. Do we want to combine them, or do we want to have them separate?
We can deal with that afterwards. That doesn't matter as much at the moment. So Nick, once again, kind of like returning back to Jake's lands, you see once again 300 soldiers. So all in all, you have 550 soldiers coming your way, and you think that there might be 700 that are there, and you know that your people, being a warlike people, are very quickly going to rally to the call. Oh, Jake, you already kept a standing army, so you always keep a standing army, so that's not something that you had to roll for. Would you want to roll for another army to try to have even more about, or nah, bro, the penalty's too scary if I fail?
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
Cool. Because I was gonna say, if you if whether or not you fail or succeed, it's +1 on rest if you summon a second army. All right, cool.
I need to roll like a 19 to succeed. So no.
Okay, nope, cool.
18.
So when you guys return back to your place and you're actually trying to gather together what's going on, what kind of information they've been able to pull from the people that survived, so on and so forth. One of the things that you do discern from peoples here that are a bit more intelligent than the ones that you spoke to beforehand, or at least have a bit more know-how, because there was the group that broke off and head south. There was a little over 100, upwards of 120 people that did head down to Clan Shadow, right? And at the Densho clan, there was about 250 that actually, so you saw the 30 and there were more heading behind. So it was a little under 250 who attacked Clan Densho, with some being injured and fell back. There was actually originally only about like 300 to 400 attacking over at Clan Kushibashi, but with those falling off of Clan Densho, it's believed, because they were rebuted here, they would have regathered, rallied back up with anybody else that would have rallied up as well. They had kind of like a rallying point to fall back to, and all of them would be heading to the west to go take that spot. And then they would kind of like, their tactic being, if they couldn't take this one and that one, they would all join together and take one clan and then work their way kind of like down and around to over from there. So that was kind of like their tactic was to try to take all 3 clans in one fell swoop, but if not, one at a time take them. The big bit of information that you're gathering is that there's kind of a bit of a timer to this whole situation. If you're not able to defeat the armies soon enough that are there, there's going to be reinforcements heading south from the original north to try to give them reinforcements to finish. So if they're not defeated, they'll be reinforced, so they can attempt to take this land. You don't know why. You don't know anything about that. You are unfortunately unable to kind of gather that bit of information. This is what was pulled from the advisors of Jake's clan, and the what's her name from your clan, who also has a high intimidation score, mind you, from Clan Shadow, while you guys were off and fighting to the east. The last thing I'd want to point out is as to whether or not any of this combat was done correctly. Just kind of like double checking the rules and whatnot, the rules of engagement. Yeah, they used poison. That's obvious. If you can prove that poison was used, because, you know, you have a lot of it there, in theory, how it was used, how any of that stuff applied, you guys are positive you can get that clan in a considerable amount of trouble getting it revoked. The issue is, do any of your characters have a degree of understanding of poison to get this kind of this understanding or any of that? To answer that question, this falls on Nick's lap, because Shala needed to return home. This is Shala's responsibility. Let me look at Charlotte real quick. Your character's going to know your advisors better as the sessions roll on, so you know how to use your people better as sessions roll on. So, first and foremost, Nick, could you go ahead and roll me a stealth check for Shala?
Oh no.
Oh, I know, Anno. That's what I'm trying to get to. She's easily able to get back into her home. She's good at this. She's traveled with you for a long time. She helped to take these lands at your side. Hell, she was even there when you first procured the eggs that gave you your namesake Axebeaks, and she's a rider of one of the original Axebeaks, I think. That's up to you, though. She has this ability here called Rumor Empathy. A dandy can alter the flow and spread of rumors in their favor. This function is similar to Wild Empathy, except it takes a day, 8 hours of work instead of 1 minute, and it affects the general tenor and rumor inside of the wild. So this is kind of like how it is that she's going to cause disruption inside the actual town as needed. But more importantly, she's going to go and try to get word over to the other advisors without it being known. To pass innuendos, Nick, why don't you go ahead and have her roll for me a bluff check? That is beautiful. To be able to pass those innuendos very well. So that being said, knowing that poisons and everything were involved, knowing what needs to happen, and needing, of course, to convene with the other advisors, she's going to be able to get word to them and inform them of what had transpired. Honestly, the word is not going to go directly to the advisor she needs to speak to. The word is going to go to the two advisors that she knows that she can trust, either A, because she knows them very well. That's going to be Ton Screet, who obviously has their hands full right now. And I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. I think it's Ryan, who is by and far the most intelligent amongst the group, is easily going to be able to discern whatever message she passes their way, right? The message is supposed to get to Daisy Rocks. You need to get used to these names. Daisy Rocks needs to head south. Now, the issue is Daisy Rocks is Nick's consular. So, because you need his expertise in poisons to head down south, she needs to smuggle him out of the city. Nick, looking at the advisors that you have, knowing that Daisy Rocks is a 6'8" reptile, being a lizard folk, because, Lightning Dragon is a brilliant person. How is it you're going to sneak out a 6'8" lizard folk out of your tribe of, 5'4" Karak? Sorry, she's a lady lizard. I didn't mean to. So it's hard to tell with lizards. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't exactly get tatas.
Well, have you seen Argonians in Elder Scrolls?
Well, they get some tatas.
I would probably just try to hide her in a lumber transport.
Sending lumber out of the city. Luckily for you, Dazarox has a stealth check, but your Spy Master can offer assistance. Why don't you go ahead and roll your Spy Master's stealth check? That gives a +3. You can put under Dazarox stealth under temporary on the far right hand side of the stealth, add a 3, and then roll for her.
I don't have her character sheet.
I didn't make her available to you. Probably got interrupted in the middle of all the other ones I was doing. Where is Neldorath? She'll be with you in just a moment. You should have her now. Where are them boobies? Is that what you said, Hana?
Oh, God. Oh, nice.
Easily is able to be smuggled out of the city. Just disguising herself as being another worker. And, not all of your advisors are so well known. Certainly not the consular is so well known. I mean, honestly, a giant 6'8" lizard folk as the consular of your clan. That's a little strange. Easily able to be smuggled out of the city and to head down. It's actually a bit of a sight for sore eyes. Shortly after you arrive there, having raised the armies and everything, that Daelric is able to come back down south, delivering to you two things. One, her expertise, and two, knowledge of what happened back home. We're not going to get to that knowledge tonight because the session is coming to an end momentarily. But what we are going to be able to do is have her expertise of poisons come into place. She is somebody who is very adept at utilizing poison. And then plays as for maiden prerequisites and all that stuff. So to be able to identify the poison, she has a lot of experience with many different poisons. Spending some time investigating it, she is actually able to discover that this is a modified version of blue winnis. Blue winnis poison is a poison that's typically meant to be an injury poison. You get stabbed and it affects you. However, it seems as though this poison was modified. Instead of being something that required to be directly entered into your bloodstream, it was mixed with some other chemical to make it so it actually on touch it affected you. And having preserved the entire dance hall, nobody being able to use it at all, which will cause unrest, for a period of time until the thing can be appropriately investigated, it seems as though the silverware and the flatware and the plates that the food was served on were smeared with a considerable amount of blue winnis, thin coating, but that takes a lot to hit all those plates to make sure all of those people at the thing. The big question is, who was the one that would have had access to do it? Who in Clan Densho would have been able to make this happen? Unfortunately, discovering something like that is going to be rather difficult for Jake to do, and it's going to require a loyalty check he'll have to make next session. In the meanwhile, that is going to be where we end this session, having a very diet version of mass combat, with there being much more in depth and having more fun with kind of like the mechanics of it, and the actual like your character's approach in the combat with maps and like your tokens and whatnot being on there, working with it, and also next combat having our first kingdom roll. The big question I have to ask for you guys is, because the kingdom rolls, once they're defined, are always going to follow the same order. So, who wants first? Who wants second? Who wants third?
Let's roll D100s. Highest gets to pick a spot first, and then we roll again. And highest gets to pick second spot.
I'm fine with that. Sure. So all three of you roll a D100 one at a time, so you don't spam the dice.
I'll go first, I guess.
Sure. Oh, you set a low bar. Okay.
Apparently not.
Nick, it's easy. It's an easy win here. Rolls a 1.
Sure.
What the fuck? Oh my god. Okay. Shado gets to go first.
Well, I wasn't prepared to go first. You know what? Since I'm the cool kid in the bunch, I'll go first. You know, cool kids go first. Okay.
Okay.
They get
Cool.
extra credit from the teachers because they're the first one to present. You know, like that's how it do, right?
All right. And you, sir, you gentlemen have to roll again.
Oh boy. Stay orange cell. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right. Jake, do you want to go last or second?
I'll go last.
All right. Nick goes second. So that's how it's going to be from now on. It's going to go, what is it? Clan Shado, Clan Kushibashi, and Clan Densho. If you guys are actually looking at the stream, it actually is the top, middle, and bottom for the actual windows of the PCs. So that works out very well, which is kind of nice. I would also point out that the While this was a diet mass combat that we saw here, we also got to see a little bit of the advisors, a little bit of kind of like interaction with one another, dealing with immediate situation, like kind of like a critical situation. I see a little bit of the PCs kind of handling one another too. I'm excited to see how kind of this opens up and like the real story kind of kicks in. You know, the first few sessions are always, let's just hit a baseline. Let's get them familiar with one another. I always hate session 1. Session 1 is by and far my least favorite session of any campaign. I suppose the last session is my least favorite. The first session is my second least. But we almost never get the last session. Usually it's just like, oh, I'm done now? Okay. All right. That's it. That's it for session. Yay! Session 1's done. So before we bounce out of here, let's have some final words from everybody. None of you guys are really streamers. So there's no really pimping yourself out unless there's something I don't know about, in which case, cool. Otherwise, we'll go from the top bottom. Celsior, welcome to the first session of the game. Anything you want to say before you go?
Stop bullying me, please. It's cyberbullying. I'm gonna report you
Bully more.
to my school. You know, I got a dad that works at Steam. They're gonna ban your Steam account. Watch Planeswalker.
Nice.
Yeah.
And how about you, Nick?
Right now, I'm still in shock that I didn't tank those stealth rolls. Just letting that sink in. But yeah, it was a good time Leroying into a death trap and watching my team get slaughtered. So
Leroy Jenkins.
He literally did a Leroy Jenkins.
yeah, that's good.
Like, just
So,
follow the plan. Stick to the plan. Oh, that's
well,
funny.
you know. Yeah. So that was tasty.
Beautiful. And Jake.
Yeah, I had a good session. I enjoyed it. But yeah, no. We have Planeswalker on Wednesday, so it'll be fun, and I'm looking forward to next week to get back into it.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited for making the rest of these advisors, which I will get done as soon as I can. I kind of want to just record them right now, but I have to. I have other Patreon stuff I have to make up to first. I have to. So, wait, he's saying, wait, no KM? Is he dumb? Is he being dumb?
There is no Kingmaker. There's Planeswalker though.
Yeah, I think he's being dumb. So I have to get those other things done. As much as I want to just go record them right now, I can't do it yet. So we'll get it done as soon as I can. All right, I will catch y'all later. Let's go and raid our wonderful little friend. What is it? Blue Aether. She's absolutely amazing. Like I said, at some point in time. Oh no! I mean, I can change it to Hoko. But we all know it's not actually changing to Hoko Snake. We all know it's Buddy Spear.
Wait. Do we get anything for the level 5 hype train?
Yep. What you get to have is
I'm waiting for the